Hello, gentle viewers. This is Abendian, welcoming you back to Tabletop Simulator, where today we're playing Tapestry by Stone Meyer Games. Let's let you get a look at the board here. It's a very pretty board. I do like the artwork. Um, First of all, this is, and none of you would know this if I didn't bring it up now, but I feel like I have to, just to how silly I can be. Um, this is actually the fourth game of Tapestry I've played in the last 2 days. And every game I've lost, and I couldn't figure out why. And it turns out I'd read the rules wrong and was basically letting the AI players have like twice as many turns as me. So now I feel pretty dumb. But so you don't make the same mistake I do, I'm going to get into how the game actually works, but I just want to emphasize this specific two words here. Draw the topmost cards of the decision deck. I was always taking one from this deck and one from this deck instead of both from the decision deck. And that just made the AI's turns last so much longer than mine that they were like doubling and tripling my score. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Am I really that bad at this game? And it turns out I am probably not the best at it, but I'm also not that bad. So, we'll explain what all that means as we go through the game. But what is Tapestry? Tapestry is developed by Stone Meyer Games, principally designed by Jamie Stegmaier, and it is a game of building up a civilization. Now, if Eldritch Horror and Robinson Crusoe, which we've played in the last few weeks, are solid examples of the American genre of board games with lots of dice rolling, lots of randomness, very heavily based on theme. Tapestry is a Euro. Euros tend to be more based on skill. There's a little bit less randomness. Where there is randomness, it tends to be cards and not dice. And the theme is almost always more abstract. And that's Tapestry to a T. Yes, Tapestry does have dice. Where are the other two dice? You little buggers hiding on the other side of the board. Yes, there are 3 dice in Tapestry, but you rarely roll them, and when you roll them, they're always rolled for a specific purpose. So today in Tapestry, we're playing with both the Automa, powered by these cards, and the Shadow Empire. The Automa is represented by the yellow cubes, and Shadow Empire is the white cubes. I am the red cubes. So Tapestry is played over a series of turns. And there are 2 kinds of turns in the game. There are income turns, and there are advancement turns. And during the income turns, you're following very specific guidelines to gain certain benefits, to gain certain resources, and then you then go through advancement turns. But there's a couple of really neat features about Tapestry that I haven't seen in any other game. This is a game where not everyone will finish at the same time. Because in Tapestry, you choose when it's your next income turn. And there's only 5 income turns per player. There's one at the beginning of the game. It's actually the first thing we'll do once I'm done introducing the game. There is then 3 more in which you gather resources and you advance your civilization. And then there's one more at the end of the game for any last victory points that you might score. Which is a very cool... It's a very cool part of this game. And I really enjoy it. Tapestry is honestly probably one of my favorite Euros now. And I do genuinely like European board games. I'm also finding that I like American board games in the right circumstance. I don't know how I'd classify Pandemic. Pandemic is probably my favorite game of all time in all of its various iterations, but it's not the best for single player, so I haven't played it yet on this channel. I need to look at the solo rules for Reign of Cthulhu again and see if it is any good. I don't know if it is or not. But, back on topic. And so after the end of a player's 5th income turn, that player is done with the game. They tally up their final score. There's still a couple things you can do even if you're out of the game, but especially with the automas, not very much will happen. And then that's when the game ends, and whoever has the highest score wins. So, here is our income mat. And if you play the game with multiple people or by yourself with the automas, yours will look something like mine. Here's the income mat, and any space that is exposed is what you would get in an income turn. So here I would get 1 coin, 1 population, I call them chonks, 1 food and 1 culture, a tapestry card, and a tile. And I'll tell you what all of that means a little bit later on when I'm actually playing the game. It'll just be easier to see. But one of the things you're trying to do during the course of the game, again for the human player, is we're trying to take these buildings off of this mat and put them onto this one, so we can build up our capital city. Any spot with a red circle can't be built upon unless you have a... I'm just going to lock this down. Unless you have a very specific ability to let you do it later in the game. If you complete what's called a district, like these 9 squares here, you would get 1 resource of your choice. But the real objective is to try to fill rows and columns. Sorry, this is a row, this is a column. And completing rows and columns gives you 1 victory point each and every income turn, symbolized by this little guy right here. So this is a pretty good engine for points. Down here I have my resource track. There are 4 resources in the game, as I've just described, and this is how you'll keep track of them throughout the game. I haven't finished setting up my gameplay yet, and I'll explain why in a minute. But let's talk about the Automa and the Shadow Empire. So the Automa has an income mat kind of like mine, but you'll notice it's much simpler. This tells me what to do during an income turn, and this is just a reminder of my civilization. Oh wow, that actually fits perfectly right there. That never occurred to me that that was what I was supposed to do. There we go. So this is the AI civilization. They're the conquerors, and I followed these certain steps when I see this purple symbol. Let's lock that down. This is great, actually. This gives me more room over here to put this deck, and then I'm going to put that deck out of the way. Now, both the Shadow Empire and the Automa are going to be operated through these cards, but only the Automa ever scores points. The Shadow Empire is just there to make my life difficult. The Shadow Empire tries to steal a certain achievement on the board, and it tries to steal these landmark buildings from me and give them to its pal, the Automa. Whereas the Automa is actually competing with me, but in a very limited way. I have far more... I didn't take the reference cards. Get over here, you little sausages. The Automa can only do certain things on a turn, and I can do more than the Automa can. But on the other hand, they can get up to some ridiculous point totals under the right circumstances. So these are the only things that the Automa can do, and I'll explain each of them as we see them in the game. This is its spot for landmarks. It does score points for landmarks, it just doesn't have a city to place them in. It also scores points for every tile it's conquered, and it scores points for being on the various scientific tracks. And I'll show you how the Automa works when we actually play it. The next thing I have to do is I have to generate myself a coin. Let us get 1 US quarter. Heads, I go first. Tails, the AI goes first. Flippy, 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 flip. Tails. I have never once gone first in a game of Tapestry in the last 4 that I've played. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, the Automa's going to go first. But the thing I need to do before that happens is I need to finish setting up my civilization by choosing my civilization card. And as you can see, I have 2 of them. Civilizations are a powerful bonus that you get on your income turns, and each one changes the way that you play the game. So first of all, we have the Chosen, and let's get a closer look. The chosen seek glory matched by other civilizations, whom they look down upon with a mixture of bewilderment and pity. So, if I'm the farthest ahead, or I'm at the end of a victory point track, I get 1 victory point per opponent, which means I would get 2 victory points for being at the end of a track, and I would also get a resource for each achievement, and if it's the last turn of the game, then I would get 5 victory points for every achievement I've earned. And it looks like that's permanent. So that means every turn I will get an extra resource, if I'm understanding that correctly. I wonder if the appendix has anything to say about that. Oh no, I don't think they actually cover the civilizations, do they? They might. It might be on the last page where they go over some of the specifics of a couple of the couple of the civilizations. But short of taking time to look it up, and I don't have my phone because it's charging, I would assume that the Chosen would get this resource every single turn, which is pretty strong, although achievements are hard to get, and in most it's actually 3 extra resources a turn. Our other option is the leaders. This basically lets me get a free advance and a benefit during the income phase. And that's also pretty powerful. I actually quite like both of those. The Chosen more interesting mechanically, but I think the leaders are a little bit easier. I think I'm gonna pick the leaders. Yes. But I'm very interested to play the Chosen in a future game. That is a really cool... Oh no, I shouldn't have deleted that. Hang on. There are a couple of effects in the game that can give you more civilizations in the course of the game. So I actually put it back in the stack and I shuffle it. I'll talk about tech cards and tapestry cards a bit later on and how those affect the game. Let's also just clear up some space here. I don't like how cluttered it looks if there's too many extra players here. Go away. And then I can't leave this extra stuff over here. I don't need any of these others for this game. Because I don't think the AI can ever get another civilization. Maybe it can. Is it on its list? It's not. Okay. This, by the way, are the instructions if you play the game with 2 players and you want a little bit more competition and a little more interactivity, you can add the Shadow Empire. When I played this game 2 players, I always just play it by ourselves. I don't really find a lot of interest in using the Shadow Empire. But it does add a little bit more competition. It is a little bit more competition, and it keeps you from losing interest. But that's fine. We have everything we need to play the game, so let us begin. And by us, I mean the AI player. Now, the AI player, I'm going to move... this manual I'm going to keep handy. This manual I'm going to move until I actually need it. The AI player is going to start with its income turn. So, we look at the income map, and anything that has a number 1... we would do the first turn. So its first income turn, it gets a tapestry card. Now for the AI, tapestry cards aren't all that exciting. And that's literally all it does for its first income turn. Let me make sure that's accurate. Yep. Okay. So that's actually all the AI does its first turn. Now, tapestry cards for the AI make it harder for me to conquer things, because that could be a trap card, and I won't know it until I try to attack the AI. So it's something to keep in the back of my mind. Let's talk about my income turn. My first income turn isn't that exciting either. Um, Here's my track, and the only thing I gain the first turn is I gain all the resources on these open spaces. The little laurel wreaths indicate victory point spaces, and I ignore those for my first turn. So I get one of each resource, which is okay. I also get a territory tile. Oh, did I shuffle? I'm pretty sure I shuffled everything once, but I'll shuffle it again. There we go. I didn't actually care which territory tile I got. I just thought for a moment that I done it incorrectly. So I haven't talked about the board yet. The board is going to gradually have more tiles added to it as we explore this mysterious island that we're all sharing. And each tapestry, or sorry, each tile that you play can be worth additional victory points, and can give you some short-term and long-term benefits, which is pretty nice. But I yet take the explore action for that, and I'm not there yet. And then I also get one tapestry card. Now, unlike the AI, I'm going to flip mine over so you can see what's on here. I have democracy. Well, that's interesting. So when I play this tapestry card on my next income turn, I can draw 3 more, and I can discard any of them that I might want for 2 victory points each. That's not terrible, actually. There's better tapestry cards in the deck for sure, but that's actually not terrible. And then that will actually conclude my income turn. But don't worry, guys. The real game starts in the advancement phase. So, now that I'm playing this correctly, sigh, I'm going to move this card. I'm going to move... You know what? You only ever get one of these cubes. I'm going to delete these. Because, again, I don't like clutter. I'm just going to put these over here so that I can spend this entire area here with the cards. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip over the top 2 cards from the decision deck. That's too close to the board. So it's going to try to snap them to the board. I always find it difficult just because of the way that Tabletop Simulator works sometimes to find the right space to put things. There we go. I almost did it again. I almost tried to grab a card from this deck. No, bad Abby. Don't do that. What we're going to do is we're going to look at this center section. This tells me what each of the automas are going to do during their advancement turn. So the automa is going to advance on the science track. The little square means it just follows the tiebreaker, basically. So the automa is white, and they trigger the science die, but they don't get any benefits from the new area. So I'm going to take this, roll, and they roll tech, so they also advance in tech. But they don't get to take a tech card because of the X underneath the die here. That is the automa's turn. The Shadow Empire, they follow from bottom to top. They want to follow their favorite track, which I determined before the game started, using the methods in the manual. And the automa here... Oh, no, wait. White isn't... Sorry, yellow is the automa. White is the shadow player. Oh, white wants signs anyway, so that's good. The only thing I did is I put the wrong cubes in the wrong spot. Sorry, game. And then I'm going to put myself on top here in case I decide to go tech first. And I really haven't thought about it yet. I haven't really thought about what path I'd like to follow. So all the Shadow Empire is trying to do is 2 things. It is trying to get landmarks, which are these buildings, and it's trying to get to the end of a track. That's all it cares about. The Shadow Empire won't collect any benefits during the game. The Automa, on the other hand, will collect certain benefits during the game. And it's just a matter of thinking what they're likely to focus on. Okay. Fantastic. The AI's first turn is now completed. When this deck is empty... Oh, hang on. Don't I draw 1 card from... I do. Okay. I did make a mistake. Yeah, because there should always be an even number of cards here. So I'm just going to shuffle that up. So I know that the AI could take anywhere between 4 and 5 turns before its before its second income turn. And because of the resource I have, mine will probably honestly be pretty similar. Now, so the 4 tracks all offer specific benefits. The tech track lets you get involved with the technology cards. The military track allows you to expand your footprint in the game. The science track helps you advance on the other tracks. And the exploration track lets you lay down more tiles for points and eventually getting up to the space age. Right now, the leaders have a very balanced civilization benefit. So one thing I'm not going to do, and I'll explain why in a second. I don't want to waste a resource to advance once on the science track, because all I get to do is roll the die, and I don't get any benefits from advancing to the new space. So I'm already going to tell you right now, at the beginning of income turn 2, I'm going to trigger the science track. So I'm going to ignore this track for now. I'll come back to it, don't you worry. One of the things I want to make sure I have by the end of the income turn, because I can upgrade it, is I want my first tech card. And I think it's actually a pretty strong play. So for the first tier, I have to spend 1 resource of any kind. Since I'm not going to use science this turn, I don't need as many chunks. So my chunky boy is going to go down to 0. You can see, in case it's not clear, there's a little number at the bottom of each space that tells you how many of each resource you have. I get to pick one of these tacks, or I believe I can also take a tack off the top of the deck. Is that accurate? It'll be on page 3 here. Yes, I can also pick one from the top of the deck. So let's look at the tech cards. When you play a tech card, you get nothing. When it advances once, you get the circle benefit, and when it advances a second time, you get the square benefit. So the printing press gives me a tapestry card and lets me play a tapestry card on top of one. That's pretty spicy. The lithium ion battery gives me 4 victory points, and it gives me... I get to use a spot again of my choice. These are all actually quite good. Papers may be the least interesting because it gives you a building and lets you score victory points based on buildings. But this is really early in the game. I'd only ever get 1 victory point, even if I did trigger that. So I think I'm going to take the printing press, because the ability to have a second tapestry card is a pretty good thing. So I put it in the X spot here. So this card will upgrade at least once and maybe upgrade twice. When it upgrades once, it goes to the circle and you get the circle benefit. Upgrades twice, you get the square benefit. In order to get the square benefit, though, either me or one of my neighbors needs to be in the second tier of the tech tree. So I advanced my red cube up 1 space. I already paid my chunk, and I got my tech card. That is it for my advancement turn. These turns get a lot more complex later in the game, but early in the game, you'll just kind of fly through it. So the first thing I do is I put these on top of each other and put them in a discard pile. And I flip over 2 more. Alright, once again, the Automa, it wants to go on its favorite track, which is military. Now, this is the Conquest Token. The AI would like to conquer an opponent, I can tell because of this tipped over salt shaker. That's what they look like to me. Or like a Dalek, maybe. But in this case, they can't conquer me. I've only got 1 territory, and it's my capital city. So if they can't conquer an opponent, I believe... because it can't conquer the Shadow Empire either. So it's going to want to conquer... yeah, it cannot... Oh no, it always tries to conquer the opponent, and then only otherwise does it conquer neutral. I was playing that wrong last game too. Yeah, it always wants to try to take a territory that I control, but I can't. So it's going to go to conquer neutral. And, oops, it's flipping both. And this tells me what I have to do. So, in order for a hex to be considered valid, it either it has to be conquered and explored, and it has to be adjacent to me, and it's only valid if it would be toppled. Oh no, that's what that means. Yeah. It'll expand because of this like more aggressive sign here. And so this tells me which tile to pick. It wants to go closest to the middle island. This is one of the 3 achievements in the game. The first to get there gets 10 points. The second one gets 5. You can also defeat your opponent twice for 10 or 5 points for the first and second, or get to the end of a track first, again for 10 or 5 points. So the AI actually cannot move closer to the middle island because this tile isn't here yet. So it can't do that. So the next is a 1 token territory. It doesn't have any, so one's closest to its own territories. And so it's going to use the special tiebreaker. So this tells me to start up here on the board, and then I count down, and then I go through here. And then the first legal place it can play is that little guy right there. I know it can be kind of hard to see, so I take one of its outposts and I put it here. One outpost is vulnerable. It can be toppled by another empire, which is important to think about. Okay. It is now the end of the Automa's turn, the Shadow Empire. The Shadow Empire wants to race to a landmark or race to the end of a track. So it's going to want to go where it's already advanced, unless there's 2 such places. There aren't, so it's going to move down this track. And remember, the Automa never gains any benefit, or the Shadow Empire never gains any benefits. It just steals stuff, because it's a jerk. Alrighty. Let me cogitate on my best course of action. Now, I would really like to be the first to conquer the Middle Island. I didn't pick the Chosen, so I don't get the benefit other than the 10 victory points, but 10 victory points is actually quite a lot. I gain no real benefit from conquering at this point, I don't think. I don't have a lot of emphasis for me to conquer. But I could keep moving up the tech track. Because I'd like to have more options there. Or I could go exploring. Now I've got 3 resources left. This either lets me move on 3 tracks or 2 tracks but get a bonus. I can also just say, I'm going to take my income turn right now. That is always an option that I have. I'm not going to do that, but I could. Now, being the first to take an income turn is a useful benefit. I would get a free resource. The AI would get victory points. So that is an important part of the race that I want to keep in the back of my mind. The AI could take an income turn when it draws its last pair of cards, if there's a specific symbol, namely this hand. Otherwise, it'll wait till the deck is empty to take its income turn. So that's something I need to consider as I play the game. Now, here's what I'm thinking. I am thinking the best thing I can do with my remaining 3 resources is advance once on the tech track and twice on the explore track, which lets me get more tiles and then play a tile and then get another tapestry card. Although I really want to place buildings. Buildings are really good. They give you better income for the rest of the game, and they give you other benefits. And so I'm thinking maybe the next thing I do... Oh no, I am red, aren't I? Derp. I'm going to spend 2 resources here. One for this and one for the bonus. And then maybe actually the best thing I can do is just advance on this track 3 times. And then ignore the exploration track. Because right now there's no rush to get to the middle. the race element isn't there for me yet. But more valuable to me would be getting more techs or getting more buildings. So I'm going to spend 2 resources. It doesn't matter which ones. We'll say 1 food and 1 culture. And I get to draw a tapestry card. This is always good. It'll give me another thought to think about for the income turn. And I get to place my very first building, which I believe is a bank. I always thought they looked like tents. Oh no, it's a market. That makes sense. So I take this market off my map. I'm going to get 2 coins next turn. And I get to place it anywhere on my board that doesn't have a red dot. I think I'm going to start working over here. Because 2 more of these buildings, and I get to fill in an area and claim a resource, and it gets me closer to completing this road here. I think that's very smart. So that is it for my next advancement turn. And one of the cool things about Tapestry is that every game is different. You make choices based on what your opponents do. And the one strategy I will give you for free, racing to the end of the first track is almost always a good decision unless there's a specific benefit that you really want. Like, I will change my strategy the moment the AI places an exploration tile. You know, there's actually a lot of sense in actually using the exploration with my leader's benefit at the beginning of the income turn. Because gaining 2 tiles by itself doesn't get you anything. But then I would immediately be able to explore first thing. Oh, that's even better than getting science for free. I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, that's it for my advancement turn. Now the AI takes one. What do you have planned, my automated chum? Alright. You would like to advance on exploration, Mr. AI. This is fine. This is just tiles. The AI never draws tiles, so that doesn't really affect me. But it does push them closer to being able to explore, so that's something I have to keep in the back of my mind. Because exploration leads to conquest, and conquest leads to points. What about my shadowy friend? He wants to advance on the science track. Now this is growing somewhat problematic. He's going to get to this landmark before I do. But it's not worth it to me to change strategy just so that I can take that landmark. It's just not worth it to me. Now, I have an interesting choice to make. The AI could go into its income turn next turn, and I have no way of knowing that for sure. So there is some marginal benefit from actually going into my income turn now, just so that I can be sure to get another resource. On the other hand, if the AI does it first, all they get is 2 victory points. And I think getting this before I trigger my income turn is worth it. So I am going to go ahead and spend my last resource. And I get the choice here. Oh, I didn't refill this. That might make a difference here. You son of a bitch. Radio. Radio is one of only 2 ways in the game that I know of for sure to play a second civilization card and get the benefits of both. It's really strong. But it's also an extremely advanced tech. Like, I won't get to trigger the major benefit of this till pretty much the end of the game. Unless I just all of a sudden abandon my tech-heavy strategy and go balls to the wall for science. And maybe that's viable. Maybe that's what I do starting next turn. And here's the thing. All it takes is yellow stealing a tech card, and I don't get radio. Radio is too good. Although another building just gives me points for tech cards. And it's only 1 more point right now. I can always get more buildings later. Yep, I'm taking radio. It's too good. It has too much potential to be one of the very best techs in the game. Annoying part of this mod, it always places tech cards upside down. I don't like that. I mean, it just means I'll take 10 seconds to turn it, but it still does vaguely irritate me. Oh well, say la vie. Oh, that concludes my advancement turn. I now have a major incentive to start investing heavily into science next turn. Because if I get into tier 4, I can then start advancing on. I can get another civilization. And the sooner I get that, the better. It's really good. This is actually changing my strategy significantly. And that's one of the things I love about Tapestry. Even though on the surface each turn is very, very simple, each turn is so rich with strategic possibilities that you have to pause and think, okay, how does this change the way the game works for me? I'm thinking very strongly after my next income turn, I'm going to push science pretty hard. Colonialism is useless to me. I don't control any territories that give me... Oh, no, it does. Oh, it's basically free resources. Neat. So I could get desert... I could get 2 extra resources. Is it worth 2 resources or having a lot more tapestry cards so that I have more choices down the line? I think actually more tapestry cards is better. So when I do that, I think I'm going to take democracy in the beginning. Okay, AI. Was I... right? No! The AI is going to take its income turn right now. That's what this little hand means. So I'm just going to instantly discard this. And then we follow income procedures. The AI beat me. Darn it. Oh well. It could have been way worse. So, on its income turn, this is now income turn 2. The first thing it does is it checks its favorite. Income turn for... You want to be farthest ahead on the military. And you are. So you're happy being in the military space. You would like to be the first ahead in science. You are. You're not further ahead in any other track. Favorites don't change. Now you score your victory points. You get 1 victory point for every landmark, you have none, and 1 victory point for every tile that you've conquered, which is 1. So the AI is out of the gate first with a single victory point. You get no points for advancing on military or science, which is the same because those are the only 2 that you advanced on. And then you get 1 point here. Oh no, then you would get 2 points. You'd also get 1 for exploration and 1 for attack. Because you did advance those. Wow, the AI literally advanced 1 space on every track. So then it's not going to change its favorite. So then you get 2 more points for that. That's not that thrilling. The next step, it gets the top tapestry card and it puts it on its card. This also triggers the victory point bonus of 2. 1, 2. Then it takes the top 2 cards from this deck and it discards them. So that its next turn is a little bit longer, just like each of my things, each of mine will be a bit longer. And then draws another tapestry card. And then triggers its civilization benefit. So, if the Automa controls fewer territories in the income turn number, it has 2, so it doesn't count. So this doesn't happen. If more than 2 territories controlled have only 1 token, which is not true, it only has 1 that only has 1 token. And then finally, it gets a bonus victory point for each of its territories. So it gets 2 more victory points. That's fine. And finally, it reshuffles. We flip, we reshuffle, and it will now commence its income turn. So that's what's going on there. Alright. If I'm going to push heavy on the science track, I think that's how I'm going to use my civilization. So I'm going to use this for the civilization, and I gain a benefit. So I'm going to roll this beautiful science. Oh, sorry. First I advance. And then I roll this beautiful science die. And I get military. I don't really care too much about that. I'm not really going for a military strategy just yet, but I am farther along in that track. That's fine. The next thing I do is I get to play a Tapestry card. And I'm going to pick Democracy. So I don't get the benefit, sadly. But I do get to draw 3 Tapestry cards, and I can instantly discard any that I don't like for some victory points. So let's see what we got here. Pillage and Plunder is really good when I'm conquering, and they can't use traps against me. This card has value against the AI because then I can try for the Topple achievement, which is worth a good number of points. I'm not going to be going military soon, but there's no reason to get rid of this card just yet. Colonialism, we already know. Wartime Economy makes all bonuses free. Oh, that's nice. And Industrialism. When I invent a card, I instantly gain the circle benefit. And it stays in the bottom row, so I can actually get it twice. These are all fantastic Tapestry cards. I'm not discarding any of these. Way to go, Democracy. I've always said the system worked. The next thing I do is I upgrade any tech. I honestly don't know which I'm going to do. 3 victory points is 3 victory points. But there's no rush to get radio upgraded. There's other ways to upgrade techs, especially if I go down the tech tree. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this for yet another Tapestry card. Now I can't discard it, because the only one I played is Revisionism. Anytime I get a landmark, I get a victory, I get a resource, and anytime someone else gets a landmark before me, I get an armory. That's fine. It's not that thrilling. Next, I score all of my victory point awards. So I get 1 point for every tech I have, which is 2. I get no points here, and I get 1 point for every completed row, which is none. We're still a young civilization. And then finally I get all of my income, which is 2 coins. It's 1 chonk. Wait, sorry. The coins should be over there. It is 1 culture and 1 food. I gain another exploration tile. That's a nice one. That actually gives me some pause about exploring in the near future. And then finally, I get 1 more Tapestry card. I have loads of Tapestry cards. What is Pirate Rule? If I conquer a territory tile, I also gain the benefit on it. Pretty nice. I have such an interesting, crunchy choice to make next turn. I love it. Which is the track that gives you points for all your Tapestry cards? One of these gives it to you. Of course, it's the Conquest track. I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. So that ends my income turn. And then we go back to Automa. What are you up to? You want to advance an exploration. So you just take a random tile from the bag, and then you follow some specific explorations. It wants to go... Okay, so it does have the military, so I can pick any space I want, and then I just use the tiebreaker. So the tiebreaker starts up here, so the first one it would come to is that one right there. It doesn't matter how the AI's tiles are arranged, and then I put a yellow outpost on it. Oh, no, I don't put an outpost. He didn't conquer it. He just explored it. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Right. Perfect. Now it's back to me. I've got resources in my pocket. Now, here's the thing. I really want to get down the science track. And I don't feel... Oh, I never moved the Shadow Empire, did I? I can't take my turn yet. The Shadow Empire is gonna move wherever it's the farthest along. So as I predicted, I lose the Science Apothecary. They get the landmark. Stupid Shadow Empire. But I have a real incentive to rush down the science track now. But here's the thing now. I cannot reasonably catch up to the Automa. Or the Shadow Empire. I can't. Which means I'm not going to be able to get this bonus here. For being the first to the end of the track. So that means it actually makes more sense to keep investing in tech and then just making science something I invest in later on in the game. At least until I get so far ahead that I don't have to worry about falling behind. So I'm actually going to invest in tech for my first action. I'm going to spend both coins. It doesn't have to be both coins. I just like doing that. And I get to take the Forge. Now, this goes on my income mat. I can put it anywhere I see fit, as long as it meets the other requirements. How's about a Forge smack dab in the middle there? Look at how perfectly that fits. The actual board game has really pretty miniatures. I think this is based on the prototype of Tapestry, which didn't have those yet. So I'm only one building away from completing my first row, which is something I definitely want to do. Now, I may, if I wish, destroy all three of these. But the library is actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie, Chief. The library is actually really good. Because it gives me another landmark, and it's 3 victory points. Then again, paper helps me invest better in science. And that's something that I want to do long term. So I think I am going to actually take paper. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to draw a new tech card. I'm going to spin it. And I'm going to end my turn. So, very nice turn. Next turn, I'm going to have a good hard think about what I want to do with my resources. Because this is now going to get to the point where it's expensive. I could spend the rest of my resources getting a building of my choice and a tech upgrade. Which would give me yet another building or 3 victory points. Honestly, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop on the tech track for now. So that I can start moving up on the other tracks. Yes, that is what I'm going to do. Okay. We stack. And we relocate. This is so much more fun and fair now that I'm doing things accurately. Okay. The blue wants to race to the end. The Shadow Empire wants to go wherever it's the farthest along. Which in this case is exploration. The AI can't ever build buildings, so it's going to choose to explore again. And it's going to follow... how many valid spaces are there? There's only 2 places it can move. It can put one here or it can put one here. So it just depends on the tiebreaker, because they're equally valid. And it starts up here in the center. And then here. So actually there were more than one, but yeah, it's going to want to build it right there. And then that's fine. So the AI is going to go hard on exploration, which is actually, honestly, of all the tracks the AI can focus on, exploration hurts the player the least. Because placing tiles does nothing for the AI. The AI only gets points for conquering tiles. But eventually it's going to do conquest actions, so I need to be cognizant of that. And let me make sure that I did follow the exploration rules correctly. Yeah, then I would just use anything that it can legally explore. Which anything adjacent to an existing tile. Yeah, there it goes. Oh no, I read the wrong side. Yeah, I read it over here. So it would go... It actually ends up in the same place. No, it wouldn't. It actually would be here. There we go. Yeah, because we go boop, boop, boop. There you go. So that's fine. I can't worry too much about that, and he hasn't really conquered yet, so I can live with that. Shadow Empire, on the other hand, it's going to move along the science track again. Slow down, you jerk. Now, so here's my strategic decision at this point. I can try to rush for the end of the tech track and try to get the 10 points for it. But that means I have to take an income turn next turn. And that's really not great. Or I can just skip upgrading. But upgrading for one resource? No, wait. Where are you? Wartime economy. Oh, that would be perfect. If I can manipulate this board so that I get a bunch of free crap next turn, that would be delightful. That would really stretch my next turn. Okay, that's my goal. I want to get every track up to a place where I can get a benefit for free, maybe. No, actually pushing on science makes sense now. Yeah, because I can spend 2 resources to move up on science, and then I can spend another resource to move up on science, and then I'll be even better positioned for science in the future. I want to try to catch up on the science track. I think that's the best use of my resources. So I'm going to go ahead and move myself. I am going to spend the extra resource, because I frankly don't care about another tapestry card. You can only ever play so many tapestry cards, my friends. Oh, that's kind of nice, actually. That's a nice source of resources. The thing is that money is good for tech. That's an intriguing possibility. So I'm going to send 2 resources. It doesn't matter which 2. I guess 1 food and 1 culture. Sure. And then I'm also going to build, to invest in science a bit, a house. And check that out. We complete our very first row. Not a district, so no resources, but still pretty good. All right, Automa. Automa advances in military. It was bound to happen eventually. Here the Automa gets a tapestry card, which is kind of yikes. But it's also not that scary. And, god damn it, you're going to keep moving up on science. I'm going to get none of these landmarks. The Shadow Empire is too far ahead. So I need to be strategic about what I decide to do when I decide to advance in this track. I can turn tapestry cards into points here, which I'm definitely going to do. But the AI is taking its turn. I take my turn. I spend my last resource to move up here. I could advance any other track for free, but my worry is that I would get something with the benefit I actually want. And that doesn't seem smart to me. Because remember, my plan next turn is I'm going to try to take advantage of some of these. I'm probably going to push on tech and take advantage of these lovely free bonuses. That'll be good. So I'm going to take the house instead of the free tile. I'm going to put it here. Just to try to get closer to filling a district and a resource. And now I'll start scoring double points for extra rows. So that's pretty cool. That concludes my advancement turn. I'm going to get to the income turn first this time. They want to race to a landmark or to the end. So they're so actually the next landmark is actually this one. So they're going to take the lighthouse from me. God damn it. AI. And then did that actually give them anything? It also let them play another tile. What does the tiebreaker here say? We start from this road down here. Boop, boop, boop. And then do I go down or do I go up? I go up. So then I go boop, boop, boop. And it can legally play a tile there. Now here's the other thing I need to consider. They now have an open path to the middle island. And I don't want to get left out on that achievement, especially since I'm not going to be getting this one. The AI's got a pretty big jump ahead of me. I'd have to get some lucky dice rolls or something else lets me advance on the science track. Which the Explorer... No, what is it that lets you advance on any track you choose? It's actually the science track, which lets you advance anything but science. So, c'est la vie. Did the Shadow Empire move? It did. Yeah, because it moved on the science track. Or did it? No, it didn't. It stole another landmark. You freaking jerk. Oh, no, yeah, it is actually racing to the end, but it doesn't matter. It takes another landmark that I'll never get back. What a jerk. And now it's my turn, and I'm going to take an income turn. Civilization power. Let's advance on... So remember, I cannot take the bonus, but I can take the benefit. And a free building right now, even if I can't upgrade, is pretty good. But I actually have now a minor temptation to push on... to try to push toward conquest in the short term. So it's going to take me exploring an island and 2 conquests to get to the center. I don't think I can beat the AI there. And if that's the case, I can still get the 5 points later on. Okay, which of my free ones do I want to use? Do I want to use the military? It's another tapestry card, and it does push me closer to conquest. I can move up on exploration. And I do want to explore at some point. There's some needed bonuses for exploring. But moving up 2 spaces for basically free, even missing out on a free tech upgrade, which is not inconsiderable, it's too good. So I'm going to go ahead and place my cube on the tech track. And then I get to build any building I like. I could go science. I could go banking. I'll start getting more points for tech cards. I could go armory for more culture or farming for more food. I would like... So here's the thing. Double tech points right now isn't worth a huge amount to me. So I'm actually going to keep investing in science, which instantly gives me any resource of my choice. Nice. So give me that tech, because I'm going to need it. Because as you'll see, it gets more and more expensive as you move up the level. Then I pick my tapestry card. And to be honest with you, I'm really tempted by... Wait a minute, if I'm going to go heavy on science... No, it doesn't make sense to go heavy on science anymore. I'm no longer in as big a rush, unless I'm just purely rushing for the sake of trying to get to... You know, these benefits here are pretty strong. I think moving up science and tech is, again, just the best way forward. So there are a couple of interesting bonuses coming up that I'd like to be able to take advantage of for free. But I think I'm ideally positioned for that. I'm not going to be doing conquest. When I gain income, I gain 2 per coin earned. And if I ever gain a building, I gain money. That's not nothing, but that's also kind of far up the track, so that's not super helpful to me. I think Revisionism is actually a low-key smart strategy here. Because wartime economy, how many times do I get to use this benefit? Once for, or sorry. Once. Twice. And I might move on to others. Like, it could be 3 times. How many times would I get the benefit of revisionism? Only once, actually. So I'm about to hit this landmark, but I'm not likely to get the second landmark in this income turn. So I think actually we'll go ahead and play my wartime economy. I am the first to get here this time, so I get 2 more resources of my choice. Give me all them coins. No, sorry. Give me all them chonks. 1, 2. So tapestry cards been played. I now upgrade any tech. I think upgrading the printing press is stupid right now, because you only get the benefit of the top tapestry card. I don't feel any desire for that. So let's actually upgrade paper so I can get another house. And let's start working here to try to get another row going. I'm going to have a lot of people, which is fantastic. I've somehow invented email, despite the fact I haven't invented farming yet, which is pretty funny. One of the things I have to tell people about Tapestry is not to take it too seriously, because otherwise you get absurdity. Like, I have invented the radio, but I haven't invented banking yet. I have email, but I just learned paper just now. It helps to kind of disabuse yourself of this need to follow in specific timelines. There's actually literally a time travel tech in the deck too, so just to be on the lookout for that. And then I start collecting victory points. So I get 1 for every card. A tech card, that's 3 points. 1, 2, and 3. I get 3 points for every completed row. That's going to be a nice little point engine. 1, 2, 3. And that's all I get in terms of victory points. I haven't invested in exploration or farm or culture yet. And then I actually collect my income. So I get 2 more coins. I get 4 chonks. It's going to be a good science turn. I get 1 food, 1 culture, another tile, and another tapestry card. Ah, a trap card. Perfect. If at any point during the game... Now, if I was playing this game with other people, I would not be showing you this card. It's incredibly strong. Because basically, this protects me from being conquered by the AI. If they try it, I'm just like, bitch, please, trap. I get a free resource, and I stop their efforts. Which is pretty good. Right. So, my income turn is completed. Now we go over to the AI. Is the AI going to take its income turn? It is not. The AI has decided, you know what? I'm going to push a bit harder. You advance on the tech track, and you get yourself a tapestry card. And then the shadow is going to advance on the military track, and I could not care less. Okay. Now I get my first income turn, and I'm going to start pushing on science. So I'm going to go spend 1 person and 1 food. I break into tier 2, and I get a victory point for every tech I've got, which is again 3. And I get another tapestry card. I have a ridiculous assortment of tapestry cards, and I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with half of them. Oh, look at socialism. I can instantly match one of my opponents. That's quite handy, actually. Ironically... Oh no, actually this bonus here wouldn't be free, which is fine, because I've got a giant stack of tapestry cards, and I'm more than happy to discard them to gain 2 victory points. Or 5 victory points, rather. Automa, your deck is now empty, so you take your second income turn. Technically your third, if I'm honest. So the first thing it always does, it checks to see its favorites. Your favorite is meant to be Conquest. But you're actually way farther along in exploration, so you're actually going to change tactics. You're going to become obsessed with exploration, because that's just what you do. Yeah, so if they bought us at the end of a track, or it's less advanced than another marker. So yeah, despite the fact that they are actually supposed to be conquerors, they've decided, you know what, I'm losing that race, I'm going to switch. And then Shadow Empire's happy to stay as the science track. Now that calculates its victory points. It gets 2 points for every building, which is 6. Yikes. That puts you up to 13. This is much more neck and neck now. I vastly approve of playing this game the correct way. I get 2 points per territory, and thankfully they've only got 2, so that's 4 more points. You then gain 1 point for every space on military or exploration, or military or science. That's 1, 3. Move up to 20. And then they get 1 point for every tech and exploration. That's 4 points for exploration and 2 points for tech. 26. Then you get a tapestry card. You fill the space, but I beat you to it, so you don't get any bonus for that. You then take these 2 cards, and you put them in here. You then take another tapestry card. You then trigger your civilization benefit. Do you control more territories than the income turn number? No, you control 2 territories in its income turn 3. So you're going to want to do a conquer action. And I'm assuming... Okay, so remember, if it can conquer an opponent, it's going to want to conquer me, but it can't do that. So then instead, it's going to want to conquer neutral, which means it wants to go to the middle island. So it's going to go ahead and conquer here, which is not great. Pretty much the AI is going to beat me there, and I can't do anything about it. If more than 2 territories controlled by the Automa have only 1 token, is it 2 or more than 2? It's more than 2, and it's only 2 so far. 1, 2. And then you gain a bonus for your victory points now. So you now get 3 victory points. So the Automa is in the lead. And then finally, we take this deck, we move it, we flip it, and we shuffle it. Alright, income turn for the AI done. Over to me. I'm going to happily play 1 chunk and 1 culture. Now, this is... I'm going to do the bonus first. I'm going to decide which 2 of these cards I'm ever going to use. I think I've just reached the point in the game where Conquest doesn't seem like it's my path forward. So I'm going to go ahead and discard both of these. I'm going to put them here. It's unlikely you'd ever have to shuffle the Tapestry deck, but just in case it does happen. And then I collect 5 victory points for that. But I get to roll the science die. And because there's no X here, like there was here, I get whatever the benefit is of advancing there. And hey, I got science again. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I can instantly catch up if I get really lucky. I have to do it. I can't, as much as I would love to take the farm and then get 10 victory points every turn for the rest of the game. If I get science again, I'm caught up. I get military. That's fine. And I can choose to pay the bonus. And I think but I don't have to. Oh, my dude. Let me make sure that I'm not giving myself an unfair advantage. And that would be in the manual here. You can always choose not to advance, which I didn't realize. That's good to know. So I can advance it. I can get the bonus, which is free. So I get a Tapestry card. It's a second trap card. Just try to come at me, AI. Just try it. And I get my first armory. Nice. And then I put that bad boy right here to try to get us a bit closer to finishing another row. Nice. What a good turn. Now, all I need you to do, AI, is I need you to not be a jerk. Can you do that for me, AI? Can you not be a jerk and advance on the science track as the Shadow Empire? I can maybe catch up and surpass you. Alright. The Automas can advance on the science track. I don't mind that at all. Please take another worthless Tapestry card, because I'm not going to attack you. Please. And then, oh, the Shadow Empire. You advance on the exploration track. This is perfect. I've got to press my advantage. I need 3 resources, but it's worth every penny. Worker for 1, coin for 2, and coin for 3. Now, this space lets me take any benefit on any other tile I've already reached. Hi. Yes, Tack, I would like to take that. And I think I'm going to invest even further in my farming. I'm going to get another bonus point because of that thickness right there. And I get to upgrade a tech for free. I could upgrade paper and gain some victory points. But I'm getting awfully close to tier 4. And now I think is the best time to upgrade paper. Or radio, as they call it, apparently. That's 19 now. That was a pretty good turn. I'm not picking a farm. That was dumb of me. Our house, rather. I'm going to explain why in a second. So the next step on the science track, which I definitely want to take, is I have to build a science building. So I actually want to take another building here. Which is anything but tech. I think farming for an additional resource. That's just better. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't like retconning, but I think that would have been very dumb if I hadn't done it. And then I can spend all of my resources next turn to move up one more step on the science track. Getting an edge on the AI at this point is so potentially valuable to me that I think even if it means spending 3 resources, my last 3 workers, I'm going to do it. And then I can spend to improve. Maybe this is when I finally start to move into the exploration track or into the conquest track. Either of those seem like they're pretty good. But that'll be my next turn. Automa, my dude. What are you up to? Alright, blue wants to race. Shadow Empire wants to, or sorry, the Automa wants to race to its nearest, either to the end of a track or to the nearest landmark. That hasn't been claimed, which is here. And they gain no benefit from that. So screw you. Shadow Empire wants to race to the end. Damn it, Shadow Empire. You stupid game. I'm really impressed by how ineffectual the Automa has actually been this turn. Just because of sheer luck, they've really spread out their advancement. And they haven't gone hard into any track. So it is what it is. Let me go ahead and do 1, 2, 3. I advance here. This is when I build my extra house. If I put it here, I'm one step closer to getting a free resource. That would be nice. Which I can then get next turn for sure. And then I collect victory points based on the number of houses that I have built, and I have built 5 of them. 24 points. Nice. AI's turn. Now, science. I'm going to need you, or Shadow Empire, I'm going to need you to lay off on science. God damn it. Automa's going to advance on tech. They wipe out these 3 inventions. I never get to use these now. They can't take tech, but they can steal it. Which I guess is the same thing as taking it, isn't it? That's a pretty nice way to do some exploration if I decide I want to get the compass. Dynamite would also help me conquer. That's neat. I've got 1 point left. And I want to do as much advancing as I can. Just in case. Oh, I didn't move the Shadow Empire yet. Yeah, they're racing to the end there. They're going to beat me to this landmark without a lot of luck on my part. So I'm going to go ahead and spend a resource, my coin here. And I'm going to come over here. And I'm not going to conquer. I'm going to build an armory. Because I now fill a district and I get another resource. And it doesn't matter which one it is because I'm going to use it for exploration next turn. Okay. Shadow Empire wants to move wherever it's farthest along, which I think is still exploration. Yep. This basic, by the way, the distinction is it's going to move towards a landmark before it'll move to the end. Whereas the other one that's just a flag is just to the end. The Shadow Empire is going to move on exploration. Yes, please do that. Oh, did I take any benefit from that? I don't, because it never gets the bonus, and it can't build buildings, and it can't place tiles. So the last thing I'm going to do with my final turn... Now this is interesting. Remind me. When do you take the income turn again? This is very significant and will determine my strategy. So, okay, so once the deck is empty is when it could potentially take an income turn. So I should be fine to take one more regular turn and then take my income turn and still beat him to the punch for 3 resources. So I'm going to advance to the exploration and I'm going to claim myself 2 territory tiles. Now, just having these in my hand means nothing. I need to actually start exploring and or conquering in order to really gain benefit from these. But that's it. I've done everything I can conceivably do on this turn. And I now progress to the AI player. Flip, flip. You want to move on your favorite track, which is exploration. You claim the train station because you're a jerk. Good. I'm glad they all fell over. I'm having a really bad game for landmarks, and I think I probably need to start addressing that in the near future. There you go. I don't care. And then what is the actual benefit from that space? They do get to place another tile. They're not bound to not put it by me. It really just depends on the tiebreaker. Unless there's only one valid place. They could put a tile here, or here, or here. So yeah, they've got multiple places. Let's go to the tiebreaker. You're going to start from here, and you can actually play a tile right there. So there you go, my dude. Enjoy. And then Shadowy McShadowface is racing for landmarks and to get to the end. Ugh. You stupid game. Quit stealing my landmarks. I wanted to be the first to launch the space shuttle, and now I can't because you're a jerk. What a jerk of a game. Oh well. Income turn. Now this is the last turn I get actual income on. So this is going to be important. I mean, every income turn is important. Now, I still have some incentive to rush to the end of the science track just to gain the civilization. But here's the thing. It's going to be stupidly expensive to do that. Whereas I could still gain decent benefits from tech or even exploration or military. But I only have one more expensive spot, though. As long as I get a lot of population, this is actually going to be cheaper, weirdly enough. So how do I want to play that? How do I want to play that? I guess, well, let's first do the income turn. Let's do this part first. Do I want to advance on military exploration? That's pretty obvious. It's not obvious. Advancing here would give me a landmark and a free population and a victory point for every tile in my hand. And then I could conquer the next time I advance military. That's actually really strong. Do it. Okay. This was not my plan, but I'm going to take it. Can I use this barracks to complete another row or column? I cannot. I can get closer, though. I can get a lot closer, though. Right here. I love how we've invented email. No, we've invented neural implants. But we've only but we only have a forge. We're making like steampunk VR implants, which is kind of neat, but also kind of terrifying. So that was a pretty good time. Let's pick a tapestry card. Is it worth trying to jump the AI with socialism? I don't think it is. Revision would help me get more armories. But you know what? I think colonialism would give me a bunch of resources, potentially. Yes. Let's go for colonialism. Looks like we took a very dark path. We went from democracy to a wartime economy, and now we're colonialist. Yikes. So I instantly gained some resources based on its land trains. And if I pick my capital city, which has 3, I would get water, desert, and grassland. What is the resource I don't get in that case? I don't get a population, but I get one of everything else. Which is fine. Now I get to upgrade a tech. I cannot upgrade radio yet. But I can upgrade paper. Let's do that. That gets me 5 victory points. You can't complain about that. Now tied with the AI, but it's going to get a lot worse for the AI because I'm about to score a bunch more. I get 2 points from. I get 3 points for my techs. Wait, what? Oh, go back printing press. There we go. So I get 3 points for my techs. I get. What else do I get? I get no points from farming. I get a flat 10-point bonus. And then I get 3 points for every completed row, and I've completed 2, so that's 6 more points. I get, and I get a point for every tile I control, which is 1. Meh. Oh my goodness! I also didn't give myself a point for every tile in my hand or my population either. I forgot about that. So I have 5 tiles. That's worth 5 more points. Neat. Okie dokie. Sorry about that. Tech is done. And now I just gather my income, which is 2 coins, 2 food, 4 more chunks, 2 culture, a tile, and a tapestry card. Boast of superiority. Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily the best, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. My income turn is completed, and you know what I never did? I never gave myself my 3 free resources either. I'm gonna put them all in coins, I think. Yes, because I really want to push the tech angle. And I'm fine with that. So I would need... I basically need to get to the end of this track. I need 3 and 6 is 9. Maybe I'd better go ahead and take all people. And there'll be things I can do during this turn that can help me earn points and resources, so I can definitely do that. Alright, game. Are you going to take your income turn now, Automa? Nope. You're going to advance on exploration. You gain no benefit from that. Haha. And then Shadow Empire is going to advance on science. Damn it. That's fine. Alright, my turn. I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 pop and 2 food to advance to here. This lets me advance on any other track I want to for free. Conquest sounds tempting, but it's not as good right now as Exploration would be. Because now I can place a tile between here and here and get a chance of conquering the center island. Which is definitely a thing that I want to do. So, when placing tiles, we care the most about... oh, I think this would be perfect, actually. So the edges, we want to make sure there's terrain matching. So we want water to water, water to water, water to water, water to water. 4 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I also get the resource on the tile, which is 1 coin. Neat. Did I not spend my people? Oh, no, I did. Yeah, I spent correctly. Okay, I thought for a minute there that I screwed that I cheated myself, but I didn't. Okay. Looked good. Automa, you take your 4th income turn. I shouldn't say last. It's your last, like, proper income turn where you actually get to do anything. Because the last turn of the game, you would just get your civilization benefit and then score victory points. And change your favorite track. The reason it does that, by the way, is there's actually a chance of advancing based on your civilization power. So that is the thing that can happen. Right. Are either of you changing your favorite tracks? No. So victory points for the AI. You get 2 points for every landmark. That's 10 points. I don't like that game. You get 2 points for every territory you've conquered, which is now up to 3. So that's another 6. 39 and 6 is 45. I know how to math. I don't know how to math. Don't believe me for a second there. A point on the military and science tracks. That's just 4 points. And then for tech and for science, or sorry, tech and exploration, you get 2 points for each of those. So that's 3, 6, 8. That's 16 points for there. 49 and 16 is 65. And then you get 2 points for every space on the exploration track. Oh no, I almost gave them bonus points. And the other 2 is for the tech track. That's still just 6 points. But the guy's now ahead of me again. But I think I've got... my last income turn should be a really big one if I can manage things correctly. So, this is an interesting... This actually has me regress on the military or tech track. And then I take the benefit again. And I think I'm going to do that for Conquest. I think that's a very smart strategy, or is it? Am I reading that correctly, or am I messing myself up here? Okay, I regress. Okay. Because here's the thing. I really want to do 2 conquests in a row, so I don't want to regress here. So I guess I'm going to regress on tech. And then I get to... I can nuke these if I want to. I want to make sure I can conquer twice, so that I still have a chance to get to the middle island. So I'm going to go ahead and take dynamite. There we go. I also could have taken one from the top of the deck. Oh, transistors is nice. And actually, warships would have given me another resource, and that's okay though. I'm not that bothered by it. That concludes my turn, except for the part where I didn't pay for anything yet. Whoops. And I guess I'll spend 2 culture for that. Alright, Automa. Oh no, I never finished your turn here, did I? I did not. Whoops. You gain 2 more cards from here. Where'd that last card go? You gain another Tapestry card. And you take your civilization benefit. So this is income turn 4 for you. Do you control 4 territories? You do not. Which means you just took the middle island. That's fine. It wasn't very likely that I was going to get there first. So I take a yellow cube and I put it here. And it advances 10 victory points. It's not a shock, actually, now that I think about it. If you control more than 2, you get to put a toppled Shadow Empire outpost on one of those, using a hex tiebreaker, which is that one. We can't really topple because of this mod, so I just put 1 on top, and that shows I can never conquer that tile. Not that I give a shit, but I can never do it. I will certainly cry myself to sleep tonight. And then I finish. Oh, and then they get another victory point for each territory they control, which is now another 4. 85. Alright. And now they take their actual turn because I try to cheat them out of half their income turn. Shadow Empire is rushing toward the nearest landmark. Here we go. You discover another tile. You have lots of valid places to place it, and you can put it anywhere you want to. So you're going to start up here. 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you can put one there. Alright. It's not my turn. No, it's not. It's the Shadow Empire. And they're gonna pick tech. Oh, Shadow Empire, you silly sausage. There's still... Wait, why did I revert here? No, I should have pushed up there. There is an ever so tiny chance. I actually spent the wrong amount. I should have spent 2 population, not a population and 3 culture. There you go. 2 chunks. Yeah, because then that reverted. Yes. Alright, game. It's my turn. I'm definitely pushing on the science track. Now I can upgrade radio and get another civilization card. To be frank, it's pretty late in the game, and I don't know how big a benefit it's going to be, but it's still what I'm going to go for. I need you to settle down, Shadow Empire, and to give me a chance of beating you to the end of this track. Alright, so it's going to cost me 2 people. Make people work in the science mines to mine science. And I get 2 times on any other track. So I'm going to go here. That's a conquest and an armory. I'm going to chuck me an armory there, which gets me another free resource. Let's make it a coin. And I get to conquer. Which means I go here, and I roll the conquest dice for the first time in the game. I get the benefit of either die. I can either have a victory point for... I can either have any resource of my choice, or a victory point for every tile I control. I will happily take a resource of my choice. I think that's right. Let me double check the conquer die, actually. It's rare that I actually roll it. Oh, the black die is the benefit of any territory tile. Any territory tile? I could take another armory, which would give me more victory points for each territory I control. Interesting. Very interesting. But I think I'd rather take the resource. I want this turn to be the longest turn it possibly can be. There's no incentive to be the first person to get to income turn 5. So I'm going to take a resource, and that was pretty solid. Now I get a second action. Now, there is inherent risk here. If I attack, I could get the trap card. That's why the AI draws Tapestry. It's got 7. There's a pretty high likelihood that there's a trap card in there. It's not a guarantee. But it is definitely a possibility. I kind of am hesitant. The thing is, it's only ever going to get more Tapestry. It's only ever going to get more trap cards. And I have 2 of them. I do have 2 of them. And I think there's only, what? There's normally 8 in the deck. And 2 are removed at the start of the game when you're playing the solo version. So, all the trap cards could still be in the Tapestry deck. I have no way of knowing that. What happens if I try to conquer and I fail? Do I still get the conquest dice? I think you do. I think even if you are defeated because of a trap card. I still get the dice. Here's the thing. It's only worth 5 victory points. That's not all that much. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to choose to advance on the tech track. I get a building of my choice. And I shall choose... Oh, what shall I choose? The farm. Just going to stick it there. And I get to pay for a benefit. I'm going to pay my 1 food. I will happily upgrade to radio. Look at that. Now I get to draw another civilization card. And I got the architects. Game, please stop. I'm going to put it here. Let me remind myself that that is accurate. That if you play the radio invention, that you get the benefits of both of them, and you don't just replace one. Here it is. It's a random additional civilization. Okay. Some of these have... Here we go. So each time I complete a district, if all incomes in it are identical, I gain 1 resource. Oh, okay. And I can swap 4 buildings. Let's do it. I'm going to swap you and you. I don't think I get this benefit, though. I don't think I get the additional resource because it wouldn't be completing a spot. So you go there. Hey, every income building in this one is identical. For sure. And then, yeah, I don't think I can do it for this space, too. But wait a minute. No, there's still a benefit to doing it, because if everything in the income building is identical, I get more points. So then actually, right, I gain less, so I'm going to take these 2... No, because I can never get another farm. That's fine. I'm going to put you here. And you here. That's now an unbroken line. That'll get extra bonus points. And then look, I'm going to put the other farm... I have to put it there because I can't move it to somewhere that's totally different. But yeah, so when I score my capital city now, I'm going to get a bonus for this row and a bonus for this row. That's pretty doggone sweet. I like that. That was a good extra civilization. I approve of that turn. Okay, game. What do you got for me? I need you to do me a favor, Shadow Empire. I need you to forget that you like science. And I want you to like anything else. Oh my gosh. As long as the bottom of this is not science. It's not! Oh my gosh, I beat the Shadow Empire to the end. I beat the Shadow Empire to the end of the science track. Oh my word. You're going to want to advance. You're going to get the space shuttle. Gross. Wait, is that right? Wait a minute. No, you should have also had the laboratory. I gave you the wrong one. That's fine. I wanted the space shuttle. That's okay. Oh, and what does that actual tile give you? Nothing that you can use. And then Shadow Empire, you foolishly chose to advance on exploration. I know you didn't choose it. Which means 2 population. 1, 2. Boom! End of the science track. I am so excited. That means I get an achievement. I get 10 victory points for that. And here's what's really crazy. I now roll this 4 times. And I get... Now, if I advance on a track, I gain no benefit from it. But I can always choose not to advance if it's a benefit that I desperately want. So I get to roll this 4 times. And if I would push myself off the end of the track, I actually gain 5 more victory points. Military. I do not wish to advance on military because I still want the option to try to conquer the Middle Island. Although, no, this is actually better. Yeah, actually I will advance there. Because this gives me a chance at a landmark, and it also gives me a chance to maybe get a bonus. Okay, second roll is exploration. I definitely want that benefit, so I'm gonna stay put there. Science, I can't move any farther on science. That's worth 5 victory points to me. Oh man, I almost got science again, and I'm still not moving into exploration. Stop asking. Oh, that was brilliant. I snatched a victory from the jaws of defeat there. I really thought the Shadow Empire was going to beat me to the end of that track. Now, the Shadow Empire is still going to keep playing because it could still steal landmarks from me. But I can never get... Basically, the Shadow Empire can only actually hurt the Automa now. Because if it gets to the end of the science track, it would claim the second achievement, which means you would never get it. Because you can't have an achievement twice. Alright, what a turn. Oh, that timed so beautifully. Oh, look, Shadow Empire wants to go to an end of a track now. Silly Shadow Empire. Exploration, the AI never plays science tiles. So yeah, basically, the AI advancing on... and I'm going to put this last white cube over here just to mark that the Automa can't have it. Yeah, the AI never gets space tiles, so they gain no benefit from this whatsoever. So they're going to get to the end of this track, and they're going to be salty because there's nothing they can do. But them's the breaks, you stupid jerk. I have a real incentive to try the Conquest now. Because if I topple an opponent's, which is what I would do here... Because it can only ever be 2 outposts. If I win this battle, I get both Conquest dice. And regardless, I get myself a pretty tasty landmark. So, I'm going to spend 1 culture. Heck, I'm going to spend 3 culture. Let's make it all about that culture. I'm going to take my building first, my tank factory. Is there anywhere this can fit perfectly? Yes. Right there. Now, I don't get the benefit here because there are no income districts there. Workshops are... Sorry, landmarks are not income buildings because they're not derived from income. But it is still worth another resource. I'm going to take culture in case I decide I want to move on the military track again. And then we're going to do it. So here's what happens. I take my red outpost, and I'm just going to set it here for now. All that matters now is who ends up on top. If yellow ends up on top, I'm defeated. If I end up on top, then I am victorious. Is it a trap? Mother... fucker. If I had conquered him last turn... How many other trap cards are in this deck? I'm just curious. There's another. Yeah, he had 2 trap cards. Oh well. What I'm going to do is, in the interest of fairness, I'm going to shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And then I'm just going to draw 6 more trap cards for the AI. Because I shouldn't know that they had a trap card. I had to know that for my personal knowledge. Oh well. So this is a lot less impressive of a turn. I can now never get to the middle island. It was worth a shot, especially because of this specific ability here. And then I'm going to roll the Conquest dice. I only get to pick one this time. Look, I'm going to take the population because a resource can help me move on tracks, and 2 points isn't going to make or break me, likely. That turn could have been better, but I'm not that fussed by it. I can now. Here's the other place to get another civilization. I could theoretically really push hard on culture, but I don't have enough culture points for that. I think tech is probably my next best investment, which is totally fine with me. Automa. It's not Automa. You would like to advance in exploration. So yellow gets to the end. Oh, but wait a minute. The Jerk Shadow Empire got there first, so you get nothing. And then you want to move in science, but you can't. You want to move in your favorite, which is science, but you can't. So you're going to move in tech. Okay. I think advancing in tech is a wonderful idea. That's going to cost me 2 resources. Let's make it 1 coin and 1 culture. Because I'm almost certainly done moving in the military track. I don't have... No, I take that back. I will sacrifice a pop. A chunk. I now get 1 point for every armory I have on my map, which is 3. 3 victory points are nothing to sneeze at. 1, 2, 3. I then get to play a market. Anywhere I wish. I'm going to put that here, because if I get 2 more markets... No, I'd have to get another landmark. I could still theoretically do it. But I'm also going to spend 1 random resource. Goodbye, pop. And I'm going to claim myself another tack. Give me transistors, yo. Right. Moving on. AI, what you got for me? Sorry, I got to discard first. Blue are so the AI wants to race toward the end of a track or towards a landmark that hasn't been claimed yet. The farthest one you're along on is here, so you're gonna go there. And that actually wipes the remaining tech cards. So I gotta discard that one too. And you. And you. 2, 3. Okie dokie. And then El Empire del Shadow is gonna move wherever they're the farthest along. Which I think is exploration now. Yeah. There they go. Okay. I need to make a decision. Yes, a landmark is too valuable. That's going to cost me 1 coin and any 2 other resources of my choice. Unless I get something that gives me a resource, next turn is going to be my last movement in any track. Which is a shame. I was kind of looking forward to this one here. But best case scenario, I get a resource. I can wipe this if I want to. I actually... No, I'm just going to take the top 2 off the tech deck. the nail. I have tanks, and there we go. It's still worth points at the end of the game. I'm not that irritated by that. But yeah, since I don't have a way to gain another... Oh no, I didn't place my landmark. What the heck, Abby? And it's a big one. It's very big. I'm going to put the rubber works right here. Oh no, I can't. Can I? No, because it needs 8 spaces to do that. But that's fine. It's actually not fine. You can place tiles so that they run off the board. I'm just trying to figure out if I can complete a district by doing this. Not really. Yes, I can here. I can then put a building there. If that building was an armory, I would get even more points, but I don't have a way to get an armory, do I? No, because this only gives me a bank. Say levy. Exploration could give me a new resource. There is the tiniest bit of incentive to try to squeeze this out one more turn. Which is basically no, because I can't get 2 resources, and 2 resources is what I would need. Basically, the way I'm going to get a resource is if the AI is dumb enough to try to conquer me, because I've got trap cards in my hand myself. I hope it does that. That would make me the happiest boy of them all. The AI wants to advance on its favorite track. Its current favorite track is exploration. It can't do that, so it's going to advance wherever it's the farthest along, which is tech. And it gains no benefit. Yeah, Shadow Empire is going to... He wants to advance on science. He can't. He's already maxed out. Where is he the next farthest? Exploration. There we go. Okay. If I spend my last 3 resources, I can move up to here. Which would give me a bank and would then give me victory points for every market I had. Which is enough for 1 more resource, because I could put it right there. And then next turn I could explore, and then depending on that resource, I might have something else to do. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Now, actually, here's the question. Do I have to pay for the upgrade as soon as I hit the tile? If available, I may pay to gain the bonus once. Is there any reason I can't collect a resource and then instantly take the bonus? I don't think it does. So yes, this is actually a very smart decision. First I play a bank. A market. I always call them banks. I probably always will. That's worth a resource, which I'm going to instantly spend to upgrade a tech. Now, which tech do I upgrade? I could upgrade for a coin, which would then let me do some exploring. I could also upgrade for a tapestry. A bonus tapestry, which would give me 10 victory points. And I honestly think 10 victory points is worth more. Oh, but wait. No, I can't complete another row. So a building isn't that useful to me. You know, I could upgrade the bakery and then get another landmark. How big is the bakery? It's a block of 4. Is that enough to complete another row? Or column? It's not. Alright, so I'm going to put that one back. I don't care about that one. If I do this, I get to conquer, and then at the end of the game, I get a victory point for every territory I've conquered. That is actually kind of tempting to use dynamite instead. Like, transistors give me 4 victory points and a resource, which is not nothing. I'm not going to play the nail. It's just not useful enough to me. Oh, I've got a lot of tech cards. Actually, e-commerce is worth it. Yeah, I'm going to upgrade the nail. That was a lot of thought, but I think I'm making the right choice. I get another tapestry card. I don't really care what it is. And I'm out of resources now. So this means I do one more income turn, and then the game is over. For me. But the AI is still going to keep going, at least for a bit longer. They might actually end the turn this game, too. They might beat me to the last income turn. And they did. Okay. We finished right on time. This is way better than the AI getting like 8 more turns than I got. I still can't believe I screwed that up so badly. C'est la vie. One of the... Oh, here's the missing Automa card that just vanished. I think it drew the card instead of putting it in my hand. Alright, so you take your last income turn. The first thing you do is you change your favorite track. Your new favorite would probably be tech. And your new favorite would probably be exploration. Okay, now we tally up victory points. You get 3 points for every landmark. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Yikes. That's 85 and 18 is going to put you to 103. Please stop. And that's just the beginning. You get 3 points for every territory you've conquered. Which is 3 times 4 is 12. 3 and 12 is 15. You get 2 points for every thing you've moved on the military and science tracks. That's only 4 points. You basically stopped moving on either track once the game started. That's my one possible hope. Is that you really kind of flubbed it there. But you get 3 points for everything on this track. 3 times 12 is 36. That's 19 and 36 is 54. And finally, 3 for every space on the tech track. That's 3 times 5, that's 15. You're at 169. But you're not done scoring points yet. I would place this, but it's a 4, so I ignore it. 4, I ignore it. 4, I ignore it. 5, I pay attention to it. Do you control 5 territories? You do not. So it is going to want to... It always wants to conquer me if it can. But haha... Because remember, that's what the rules say. But guess what, MFer? I got a trap card. Which means I get a resource. Which means I'm not quite done yet. You silly sausage. If more than 2, only have 1 token. Nope. Only 1 has 1 token. So then you just gain another victory point for your 4 territories. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know this looks bad, but as you just saw, you can gain a bunch of points in final scoring. So I'm going to spend my resource, my worker, and I'm going to explore. I get to pick a tile and I get to place it. Now, which tile would I like to place? 1 resource does me no good. So then it comes down to a guaranteed point in a tapestry card. Advancing along a track isn't going to earn me points, and I don't get any benefit. So I'm pretty sure the only thing that makes sense here is to take the tech card. And I want to place this in such a way as to get the maximum possible number of bonus points. That would only be worth 3 points. That's not that great. Heck, I can get 3 just by putting it here. No, I can't. That's forest, not grassland. Oh, what if I did this? Okay. Yes, it's actually worth almost the maximum number of points. 1 point because it touches water. 1 point because it touches water. 1 point because it touches desert. 1 point because it touches desert. 1 point because it touches desert. I could have gotten 6 points. I got 5. That's a pretty good play. 76 and 81, up to 81. And then I'm going to draw a tech card, which is going to be worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. Potentially more if I find one that's good to upgrade. I'm going to take 1 off the top of the deck, because none of those are all that good. Oh, yes. Perfect. All right. Very good. I will be right back. Sorry about that, friends. I had to quickly talk to my wife. Okay. So, that was a pretty great final turn. The AI is done. It's not taking any more turns, so I just take my final income turn. Now, the only thing I do is I do trigger my civilization powers. So I do get to advance along the exploration track for free. Oh, dear. I could get even more points. I'm going to draw a territory tile. Well, none of these are really going to earn me points unless I get lucky. Nah. I mean, I'm going to place it because the tile itself is worth points. Here we go. But I mean, gaining 1 mushroom isn't going to matter because I started my income turn. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 4 more points. Nothing to sneeze at. And I get a mushroom, which I can't use because I've already declared it my income turn. I do get to upgrade, though. Now, which would I most like to upgrade? This is a guarantee of 4 points. I could try Conquest Action, which could be worth even more, actually, depending on what dice I get on the Conquest dice. Or I could upgrade the bakery and just get a flat 4. So the question really becomes, do I take the chance that the Conquest gets me less than 7 victory points? Because it could get me 7. It could also get me less than 7. But as much as I talked about Euros today, I am naturally a risk-averse kind of person. I'm just going to upgrade the treasury and take the 4 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we do the big stuff. The end game scoring. I get 2 points for every single tech card that I have. That's 4. 4 and 6 is 10. 10 and 6 is 16. So that would put me at 105. Alright, I get a flat 4 points just because I'm awesome. Now, this is big. This is where I'm going to score most of my points. Let me first do the easy part and give myself the flat 10. Alright, I get 3 points for every single tile. But if everything is the same, I get 4. No, the column is worth 2. So it's 3 times 6. That's worth 6 points. So this is worth 6 points. Because it's all identical income buildings. This is 6 points. All identical income buildings. So I'm going to add another 12 to this. 31. Are there any of those words all identical income buildings? No. So then everything else is just worth 3 points each for every completed row and column. 3. Already counted this one. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 12 more points. Brings me up to 143. I think I lost. And then I get points based on each of my military... all my conquered tiles. I've only ever conquered 2. So I get 2 more lousy points. The AI beat me kind of badly. But this is much closer. And to be honest, I think the one thing I kept forgetting was that Conquest and Exploration gave you more resources and make your turn go longer. Like, don't get me wrong. This was a massive victory point boost. Getting to the end of any of these tracks gives you 10. I was really close here to breaking through. My architects ended up being worth some extra points, which I very much appreciate. I think because I didn't do much in the way of conquest, and because I kept getting screwed out of landmarks, I really placed myself in a position where I wasn't likely to succeed. This was still a really good playthrough, though, and I didn't get utterly destroyed. I merely just got beaten. And I think one of the biggest problems is I didn't score many victory points early in the game. I was kind of hoping on this to make up the difference, and it ended up not doing that. I also didn't play anything to give myself victory points in the Tapestry set. And a lot of my techs just never got upgraded because I actually ended up giving up on this row. Instead of going whole hog on 2 tracks, I tried to go whole hog on 1 track, medium hog on a 2nd track, and semi hog on the other 2. And while I got some good things out of it, in particular, exploration was just not very fruitful for me until the end of the game. I have to say, though, this was my first time playing Tapestry and pushing the science track really hard, and I actually think it worked very well. But only because I just got so stupidly lucky at the end there, where the Shadow Empire ran out of steam, and I managed to get that full 10 points. I did topple one opponent outpost, but I didn't topple 2, so I don't get any bonus points for that either. Oh well. Actually, I think the AI did it. Yeah, the AI did do it. Yeah, these both count as toppled outposts. They actually beat me by another 10. Because they would have gotten that achievement. Because they topple... Because this is actually the Shadow Empire's outpost. It's not theirs. Because that gives them a way to actually get to get to. And then they toppled me here when I failed to take the center island. That was very costly, by the way. In hindsight, that was the riskiest move I made in the entire game, and it just wasn't worth it. It would have been so much smarter to conquer any other tile and not have to worry about the possibility of a trap card. That was dumb. If I hadn't done that, they wouldn't have gotten the 2nd toppled outpost, and I probably could have gotten something better. But one of the things I really recommend to you guys as you play through Tapestry is it's really in your best interest to focus on 2 tracks to the extent that you can. And the only reason to really actively race the AI is if you think there's a chance of getting to the end of the track before they do, or beating them to landmarks. Because with 2 AIs, it's really unlikely that they won't get a complete set of landmarks unless you're just actively dogfighting them on one of those tracks. Whereas on the other track, you can be left alone. This was actually a lot more fun than the other games I played because I actually played it correctly and it was a lot better. And I think getting sucked into going for the middle island actually took a lot from my focus at the end of the game, which should have pretty much just been get to the end of the tech track 2 for the AI singularity. And this discard 3 tech cards for 10 victory points is really good, and then just a bunch of victory points at the end of the tech track here. And free upgrades. So yeah, that... I abandoned my strategy for no real purpose, and I feel kind of dumb that I did that. Because with a few more upgraded techs, we could have gotten some more buildings and gotten even more points at the end of the game based on our city. And, yeah. And I really, really let myself down in the exploration game. I really let myself down there. Because exploration is just... It's one of the best parts of the game if you get it working as an engine. Especially when you get to space travel. The space travel tiles, just because you never got to see one, I'm going to show you one really quickly here. They always give you 2 or 3 really good bonuses. And they're really strong for that reason. But this was really good. This was a ton of fun, and even though I lost, I'm not that sad about it. Because it was competitive the entire way through. And if the AI hadn't managed to get to the end of 2 tracks, Wait, let me just make sure I didn't screw myself. No, I didn't. Yeah, because I gave you 24 for that and 36 for that. Oh my fucking god, I did screw myself. I counted the Shadow Empire's progress on this track, not yours. I gave them too many bloody points. I don't know if this is going to matter, but it could matter an awful lot. Because I'm pretty sure Exploration, they do get your 36 points up, but you don't get 24 points for Science. You get 4 points for Science. That knocks you down by 20 freaking points. Down to 163. This is even closer now. I could have actually done even better. Wow, that would have been awkward. Yeah, I'm sure some of you are probably busily typing in the comments and making fun of me, and I would have deserved it. This is an even closer fight, and I'm even more proud of how much I accomplished in this. This is the basic level AI. There's a much harder AI, which I don't see how anyone would ever beat it without, like, cherry-picking the perfect civilizations. Or just getting really lucky on other things here. But strategically, I screwed up. Strategically, I should have been pushing a lot more heavily on the... I should have gotten to the end of the tech track. I really should have. And I definitely should have gotten to the end of the... I definitely should have spent more resources on exploration and less on conquest. This is probably the worst move I made all game. I mean, yes, it got me a landmark. And if I would have toppled, if there wasn't a trap card in there, I would have gotten 5 points for being the second there, and I could have gotten a lot more based on the conquest die. Just out of curiosity, what would I have gotten if I had rolled both dice and gotten both benefits? I would have gotten an extra 10 victory points, pushing me even closer. But it still would have been close enough. And I think that was... Going there for the landmark was smart. That part was good, and it helped me get, like, another 6 points at the end of the game. I am completely and utterly satisfied with that part of the decision. But forcing myself to go after the middle island was short-sighted at best. And Conquest could have got me another resource that I could have used to explore even further. But that's enough second-guessing of myself. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, this has been Avindian. And I bid you good day.